So this is where it can all go horribly wrong. This is where I show you the live demonstration of the Steelhead mobile client. So if I come out of the presentation here and I move across to my shares. So what I've set up here is a, delete that because that's there, a share, well a file share on my C drive here, and then I've also mapped to a file share on a shared one in the company HQ. To give you an idea of the latency I'm currently seeing on that link, this is the server the Z drive file share is on. Oh, might help if I do that correctly. So you can see, oh, that's better. Okay, so I was seeing about 500 milliseconds later, someone's approved our wireless. So I'm up around the sort of 48 millisecond mark. So it's not huge, but it will be enough to show you the difference before and after. My mobile client itself, I shall open and show you. I've got it running in invisible mode. You can, as an administrator, choose to have this running on your users' laptops in invisible mode, meaning they wouldn't be able to access this. Depends how much trust you put in your users. But the client here will show me the amount of data reduction that I'm seeing. It will show me connections going through the box and the reduction I'm getting on it there. So you can see over a period of time here, I've achieved a 66% data reduction. So I've accessed 141 megabytes worth of data across the wide area network, but the Riverbed has actually sent only 47 megabytes of data across that link. So it's given me a 3 times capacity increase. You have various other little settings in here, so you can set how large your data store is. It can be as little as 256 meg, as high as 20 gig, according to the sort of data sets you're accessing. And this is where you can enable and disable everything. So for the purpose of the demonstration, I am going to disable the client so I can give you an idea of how this will be performing without the Riverbeds in place. I'll hit apply. So you'll see that disabling there. And very shortly, okay, disabled. So I'm not getting any acceleration now. So for the demonstration, I've picked a few PowerPoint files to show you. I didn't want to go too big because it would be rather boring for you to be watching me spending 5 minutes downloading or copying across a file. So what I'm going to do is show you just a file transfer with no Riverbed in place across this around 48 millisecond latency link. So if we pull this 7 meg PowerPoint across, we can see how long that takes roughly. So 2 minutes according to Microsoft, but I'm sure that's not at all true. So if anyone is keeping a time, you might want to write them down to see what sort of improvements we get. This is already a marked improvement on earlier before the Wi-Fi was rebooted. So we're on about 30 seconds so far, and we're still going. Okay, so I think that was about 40 seconds that took to pull the file across. I won't do any more because it's not the most exciting thing in the world to watch. And what I'll do is now enable my mobile client, and we can show you how things perform with this working. Okay. Okay, we're healthy, we're connected, we're up and running. Okay, I should delete that from there. Okay, and I'm just going to remap that drive and reset the connection. Otherwise I may continue to get a pass-through unoptimized connection, and then we don't want that because it will ruin my whole presentation for you. 1Z. So, quite simply, what I should do is pass that presentation across again. I'm not sure if this is going to be a partially warm or a cold transfer. We shall see what happens. It may have seen it before on my client, but let's say go. Okay, that's looking quite warm. Okay, so that was about five or 6 seconds that took. So I think that was possibly a partially warm transfer. So if I delete that now, so we've gone from about 40 seconds to about 6. If I do that again, this will now be a fully warm transfer. My cache will be full of all that nice data. I do it again, go. It's just there instantly in a second or two. So the last thing I can do to prove something to you is to open this presentation now on my local drive. This is something around Riverbed Accelerating Cloud Performance, a fairly old one, and I can go in and make a few changes to that. Delete a few slides. I can add some text here and there, just to make sure you can see I'm making real changes here. I don't do anything too major. So we've made some changes. I'm going to save it locally first of all. Save back to that same file, and I'll give it a different name. Let's call it test demo. So if I get these back, what I'll do now is drag it and drop it back into the shared Z drive. And if this is working correctly, what you'll see is it should just fly because I've only changed a very small amount, although I've changed the file name, etc., etc. So I'll drop that back into the Z drive, and it's done. So it's rather a crude demonstration that gives you an idea of how it works and the improvements that you can see. So Gavin, I've pretty much finished what I was going to show there. I don't know if you have any questions that have come in.
Well, you've obviously done a very, very good job because no, we don't. Not a single question. And from nearly 30 people watching as well. So obviously you've done a very good job presenting it. I think it's worth mentioning that the product in all of its formats is available as a try and buy, so you get to suck it and see before you make your investment. Riverbed will allow you to have the hardware installed on your own sites. Typically they'll restrict you to 3 sites for an evaluation, but if it's worth enough money to Riverbed, I'm sure they'll expand that, and they have done on occasion. But you can actually install this on your network and feel the benefit for yourself in your own environment before you have to commit to buying it. They tend to sell most of their technology that way. I think, frankly, some of the gains that they claim to be able to deliver sound fairly far-fetched. So it's important, I guess, that you get to see that it works for you and does what it says on the tin before you have to spend your money. And it does indeed do what it says on the tin. I know that the office that Gavin's sitting in now, they do practice what they preach. They've got maybe 8 or 9 global sites in some very weird locations like Russia. They're all using Riverbed in a production environment, and I know that it made a huge difference to the amount of productivity they managed to get out of their remote workers. So, as mentioned before, as a Gold partner, we put this into many customers, and it is one of my favourite products to work with because you really do get a very big smile out of the IT department, but not also the IT, not just the IT department. Quite often the management team and production workforce as well. So it has benefits down through the company, and it always makes a big impression. So Gavin, thanks so much for your time. Much appreciated it as always. Anybody that's interested in taking a trial or wants to have more information, maybe you want to see a product brief, or you want to look at specific enhancements for things like Exchange or Lotus Notes, to give me a ring. I'll make sure you get my contact details. This presentation also, by the way, will be available on demand, so if you want to show a colleague, or make sure that there are links that get sent out to anybody that attended or registered, so you'll have that information available to you. But do join us for the next webinar. Thanks ever so much for attending.